Hey guys, TGKS Productions. So we got more info on the DLC that's going to be releasing, actually, as we expected, based on the GTA Plus membership. Next Tuesday, December 13th, we have a confirmed release date, and we also have the name of the DLC, which is the Los Santos Drug Wars. Now, hopefully, we still get a trailer for this DLC. We still have Friday and Monday because typically Rockstar doesn't release any news on weekends. That's extremely rare. And then also in rare cases, they don't release a trailer till the day of the DLC. So hopefully that doesn't happen and we still get a trailer so we can get even more details and a look into this DLC. So we've established that this DLC is confirmed to release on Tuesday, December 13th. Before we actually look at the info in this Newswire article, I first want to take a look at the artwork. There's a few things we could take away from it. If we first look at the characters, there's two that we know of. First being Ron, who is in the bottom right, and then also above him, Dax. In fact, he's very similar or looking to the contact profile or picture that we saw in the previous Newswire article. And as far as the other three characters, we really don't know who they are. The character in the back looks like he has a cooking setup for drugs, which we'll get into more of that in this article. The female at the top who's holding a micro SMG, we don't know who she is. However, the micro SMG has a camouflage livery here, which I don't believe is in the game yet. We also saw, like, in the contract update for completing short trip missions, there was a finish added for that. So maybe they're going to build on that. And then the female below her is giving off, like, Mad Max vibes. We don't know who she is. It'll also be interesting to see if we get that kind of clothing in GTA Online. It definitely looks very new. But that's really all we can take away from the characters. Moving on to the vehicles, if we first look at the top left of the screen, we have a crop duster. Now, the crop duster is in GTA Online. However, we can see that it's dropping some sort of chemical pesticide. We don't obviously know what it is. It'll be interesting if they actually add this as a feature that we can add to our personal crop duster. In fact, I think that was something that was cut from the game before it released. So it'd be very interesting if this isn't just like a mission feature and it can be more of a personalized feature to our personal crop dusters. The bottom left, we have a train in the background. Now, this might suggest some sort of like maybe train robbery or something we have to do on a train in a mission. Below that, we have the Manches Scout, which is an existing vehicle added in the Cairo Perico DLC. Next to that, we have a Brigade, which is also an existing vehicle in GTA Online. We saw this in the previous Newswire article where it looks to be possibly customizable. We have the same livery we saw as the previous Newswire article. However, it has a different sort of bumper or wedge on the front of it, so that is interesting. Moving towards the right, we have these choppers that I want to say the Lost MC are on. I don't know exactly what the name of this motorcycle is off the top of my head, but it does, I believe it's an existing one, and then we also have a semi-truck exploding. Now, I'm not really sure what that would be about, but that's really all we can take away from the vehicles here. We also have three rabbits at the bottom of the screen here. Now, I don't believe this necessarily means animals are going to be coming to GTA Online. In fact, this rabbit doesn't even look the same as the rabbit we have in story mode. I think this is going to be more of a psychedelic experience we're going to have, as is talked about below. In fact, there's actually even a song called White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane that talks about sort of like a being high or like this acid trip he was on. So Rockstar might be making sort of a reference to that by having these white rabbits there, which is a pretty interesting and cool reference. But yeah, I don't think that necessarily means animals are going to be coming to GTA Online. And lastly, for the setting of this artwork, looks like we're located in the eastern part of Blaine County at the hippie camp. What really plainly gives it away is the spray painted peace and love on the one trailer we have here. This is also where the character Omega is located, so it'll be interesting to see if he has anything to do with this DLC, but that is the setting. So now let's move into the article portion. So Rockstar starts off with confirming the release date of the DLC, and it's going to be releasing for all existing platforms that currently support GTA Online. Now, the second paragraph in this Newswire article definitely holds the most interesting information, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Head straight out to Blaine County and join up with old pal Nervous Ron and a new band of outstate misfits on a mission to put their stamp on the Los Santos psychedelics trade. Fight off an unlikely coalition of wealthy hippies and trigger-happy bikers while cooking up potent hallucinogenics in elaborate labs or out of your own massive rolling chemistry set in the opening chapter of an expansive new two-part story update for GTA Online. So there's definitely a handful of things we can take away from this paragraph. First off, going to be reassociated with Ron. We worked with Ron a handful of times in GTA Online in the past through contact missions, the Series A funding heist, the smuggler run business, and now reassociated with him in the Los Angeles Drug Wars DLC. He's most likely going to be the one to introduce us to Dax, who is supposedly going to be the other character we're going to be working with. And they're probably going to introduce us to this new psychedelics trade, which appears to be a new business. Now, with this new business, we're going to be cooking up these potent hallucinogenics. Now, what's very interesting here, it talks about cooking them up in elaborate labs or have your own massive rolling chemistry set. Now, a lab would obviously be a property, but a rolling chemistry set would suggest possibly a transporting lab. Now, we saw the Brigade up above. We even saw it in the previous Newswire article. There's definitely a lot of room in the back of the Brigade to potentially convert that into a mini transporting lab. So I could see that being a possibility. That is definitely pure speculation, but that would definitely be very interesting to see. And then we also have a two-part story update on top of this. So we're going to have a story part of the DLC, which we're probably going to earn some cash and RP from, and then also a business. Very similar to what we saw with the Dr. Dre contract, where we had the VIP contract, the story part of the DLC, which was the Dr. Dre contract, and then we had security contracts we could run separately, and that was sort of the business part of the agency property that came with that DLC. And lastly, we have a caution here. Los Angeles Drug Wars contains a range of wild side effects, including a new business enterprise to operate, new vehicles and missions, and experimental upgrades. And this is just the first dose. Be prepared for lots more exciting events, including some jolly holiday hijinks, significant story and gameplay updates, and much more to come. So it looks like our new business enterprise operate is going to be the psychedelics trade or something to do with that. We know at least one of the new vehicles coming, or at least the name of it, the Class A Tahoma Coupe. We also have that new taxi, which may have to do with the time travel we're going to be able to get in this DLC. Whether or not we're also able to purchase that vehicle, we'll have to wait and see. We're going to have new story missions and then experimental upgrades, which I can just imagine what those will be in the psychedelics trade. That is why I believe the rabbits up above were being hallucinated. And then we also have our annually holiday events, which is definitely going to consider or consist of the snow again. And we're also going to have story and gameplay updates and much more to come. That's pretty much everything for this Newswire article. It was short, but it was definitely a handful of stuff we could get out of it. I'm still hoping we receive a trailer besides also receiving more news for this upcoming DLC, again releasing Tuesday, December 13th. In any case, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it extremely beneficial. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share it. As always, have a great day.